Good afternoon, every major vaccine clinic at the Martin Center in Woburn, and we are expecting to have as many as 325 of our staff and people served receiving the first vaccine, the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, and on our way to some immunity. Now, we've been talking about the possibility of a vaccine for months, almost since this pandemic hit. And we've known about the vaccine coming to us for weeks anyway. And Matt Johnson and others have been diligently working behind the scenes and coordinating all the logistics. And Matt's going to be joining us in a couple of minutes. This is exciting. And I kind of felt like I wanted to be, maybe play some, holiday music or snowing outside. And I don't know. I've got this feeling of almost giddy, anticipation. This is a big deal, and I am. I'll say it again. I said it many, many months ago, but I am deeply humbled, and I feel honored that our community and our employees, and that I myself have been privileged to receive this vaccine. Probably much sooner than, well, certainly much sooner than we would otherwise if we were in the normal queue, and your family members and others that are not having access to this at this point in time don't have the same benefits that we do. So it is a small perk of working with this population, but we appreciate and are deeply grateful to the governor and to people on his advisory council that saw the importance of vaccinating people working and living in congregate care settings, and then beyond that, that it worked out for our day services. Guys, we are not going to be able to even think about getting this great organization really back and humming along like we were before the pandemic until this catastrophic COVID-19 begins to retreat into our rear view mirror. And the main way that we can do that now is for as many people as we possibly can to get vaccinated. So I'm going to bring Matt on in a minute. But first, I want to do a shout out. This is actually the second clinic we have, because a week ago, Friday, our own beloved Sharon Pitts, shout out to her. She and her team continue to work tirelessly. I cannot give enough props to Gen Z and all of our nurses that have been working in so many ways to prepare for this. But that's a picture of Sharon giving us the thumbs up. Yep, way to go, Sharon. That was last week. And then somebody else that I wanted to give a shout out to. After the NuPath Live last week, I got a text from Mr. Bob Hunter, and I wanted to give him a shout out. And he included a picture of himself enjoying a Unity beer after getting his first vaccination shot at our clinic last Friday. We love that. Thanks, Bob, for sharing that. That was fun to see. I've never had a Unity beer. I assume it's as delicious and as wonderful as Unity is to all of us here at NuPath. So tomorrow, we are going to be hosting a vaccine clinic. I've said that already. We are expecting about 325 people to be vaccinated. The names on this list, I'm not going to read them all, but I'm going to keep them up here for a minute. These people deserve a huge round of applause. They are people that are volunteering and working, coordinating with Matt and Sharon and others, and are going to be trying to facilitate the orderly and timely and efficient processing of 325 people getting the vaccine between 9 and 5. Guys, we did the math on that, and that means that we need to be vaccinating 2/3 of a person, thereabouts, one every minute from 9 to 5. That is a lot of bodies to get through and to get injections. So we're asking everybody in leadership positions, managers that are bringing their people in. Matt will cover this in greater detail in a moment. But if you've got a role, or if you've got an expectation that you need to have your home or the people served, coming through at a certain time, that you're right where you need to be at the right time, and there's just a lot of moving parts. We can do this, and we got this. We will do it. But it's a tall ask. And one of Matt's email communications to this team, he advised them to wear comfortable clothing and choose, because it could be a long day. And he did mention they were packing some snacks. So we salute all of you who are helping make this happen and to uh, predict the smoothest running of this. We are calling this Vaccination Nation. And after you have received, staff have received their, and people served have received their second dose in 21 days from tomorrow, they will receive we're going to be issuing these lanyards that list them as having received the vaccine. And I know there's a number of staff that have chosen not to receive this. It's frankly higher than I had thought it would be for NuPath. But I've decided not to uh, allow any of our time to be absorbed in that today, because we are focusing on those people that have agreed to do it and that are doing such an important thing to help us bring an end to this virus. That as of today, and we haven't done the dates, I mean the counts, but over 14,000 people in Massachusetts now dead from this virus. U.S. now is at 429,000 dead. Do you know, in the Spanish flu, the U.S. lost 675 lives. So at 429,000, and with Dr. Fauci and others saying that we could be pushing up beyond 500,000, we're not that far from the people that we lost in 1918. And worldwide, we're at a level of 216 million people dead that were alive at this time next year because of the pandemic. So it is certainly something that is urgent matter, and this vaccine could not have come to our family and to the people we love and care so much about any sooner than it has. But without any further tee up on that, I'm going to ask Matt Johnson to join me. Matt's become the kind of NuPath, our own Dr. Fauci, but I'll still call you Matt. I guess your expertise isn't necessarily in epidemiology or virology, but you are a master of organization and understanding of systems and processing, large people, behavior as well as anyone. It's your sort of job as director of clinical supports. Matt, can you tell us what where we are, what things look like for tomorrow, what things do people need to know, what last minute details do you want to use this time to impress upon people in the next 20 minutes or so that we have?
Well, I guess I would start by reiterating what you said, that there's over 300 people scheduled to come tomorrow. So I urge people to be patient, because the parking lot itself may be a challenge, and just waiting in lines may be a challenge at times. We expect there'll be times where it's really busy. Certainly 9 a.m. seems like it's going to be busy. And then there'll be times where it's not quite as busy. Come prepared. Bring your VAR form ready to go, signed, information filled out. We're not going to have a spot in the lobby where you can stop and fill out paperwork. If you come with it,
man, sorry to interrupt you, but for people who maybe don't know what the VAR form is, can you just kind of give people an idea of what that is exactly? How much time should they set aside to fill that out?
Yeah, the form isn't that hard to fill out. Probably about 10 minutes to fill it out, because there is insurance information you have to put on page 2. And I would say that it is the vaccination record form that where you provide consent to Walgreens to give the vaccination. Have that form ready and filled out to go. We have many of them filled out for the people we support. I know that a lot of the staff that work in the buildings have filled out the information and are ready to go. That'll save you time, and it'll keep you in line. You won't have to go back to your car to fill it out. And, again, with that many people being there and that type of lines and the process itself, just be patient, stand in line and wait. There are no appointment times. I know that we ask people generally what time they're coming, but we didn't schedule an appointment for anyone. So when you get there, it's not as if it's, 10 o'clock and it's your appointment time. Just be patient with that. Stay alert for any changes. We obviously have Walgreens coming tomorrow, but we don't know that there might not be a cancellation or a delay or something going on. If anything happens, we're going to send out a blast using the NuPath text alert system to let people know. And,
I mean, that's not to interrupt again, but that's an especially important thing for people to keep in mind, because we have heard of other organizations that have received news the morning of a similar sort of clinic, that instead of from 9 to 5, the vaccinators were going to be there from 10 to 2 or from 11 to 2, and severely, or that they were expecting 500 doses of vaccines, and it was only half of them were available. We're hopeful that that won't be the case in our situation, but we are really operating at the under the direction and guidance of forces greater than ourselves. And if Walgreens only brings 200 doses, then will give doses to 200 people, right? I mean, it could happen. Or if for some reason they said, I don't know what else would change, but just be aware and alert. If you get a text, pay attention to what it's saying, because it could be eminently important about the day.
Yeah, I agree. And I hope that does not happen. I hope we don't have less doses or a cancellation of any of the pharmacy team that's coming, but certainly that could be a possibility. So I think in terms of the actual vaccine, getting it in your arm, I will tell you that it does not hurt. It was not painful. The needle is very small. The after effects, obviously, there are a range of potential side effects that you can have, from tingling in your arm when you get the injection to some discomfort, maybe the night after getting the injection and the day after in your arm where the injection was, similar to what you get when you get the flu shot or any vaccination. And then there are the potential side effects that are more COVID-like symptoms. So being mindful of that.
But all of this means, doesn't it, that is the body's natural response to what the vaccine is intended to do, and that is to provide this sort of jumpstart to our immune systems to begin to produce the antibodies. It will in the long term protect us greatly from either getting it at all, or if we do, having it be a very mild situation as opposed to ending up in a ventilator or worse, dying.
Yes, I agree. And yeah, and the side effects, everyone says that is your body working, your immune system working. So, the chances of having side effects, I don't know exactly what they are, but if you do have those side effects, you want to be mindful of communicating to your doctor or your medical professional and reporting those back through the system. So Walgreens will provide us with information about an app that we can sign up for in order to report any side effects or symptoms that we have. And it's a pretty easy system to use. They actually text message you and you can click it and then enter your information.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I wonder if you, I feel like I'm trampling all over if you had probably a very thoughtful presentation. I'm making it impossible. I'm sorry. I wonder if you could you kind of walk people through, like when they arrive, they're going to come in the main entrance to the lobby, if people know it, at the Martin Center. Is that right? And then, giving people an idea of the process, or is it going to be another entrance? And then, because there's different phases, right? That if people are expecting, what's likely to happen, so that people, will come in with the expectation, even to the point where we're keeping people afterwards for 15 minutes in a waiting space just to make sure they don't have any, sort of reactions to it, right?
Yes. Yeah, so for those staff that have been coming and getting tested and the people we support, that's the same exact location. So check in the front, and the Martin Center is in Woburn, so everyone should have the address at this point. And when you arrive, you'll see the awning, and coming through those doors, you'll come into our main entry. And there will be a team set up there to take your temperature, to take your name down, to make sure you have your VAR form signed and filled out, ready to go. At that point, you'll go into the line. There is a line that's set up. It's marked off, roped off, where people will wait. There's red X's, so people can wait in line on that X, either with their significant other or the staff that's with them, or by themselves. And then we'll slowly have people come through that line and into the vaccination area. When you get to the vaccination area, the Walgreens representative will check your VAR form, they will accept it, and they'll double check your insurance information on the form. It's important that you bring your insurance card with you, because I will tell you that filling out the insurance information on the Walgreens form is not easy. Not every insurance card looks the same. So, it could, if you have any missing information or anything wrong, they will use your card to correct it right there for you. and make sure you're ready to go. Once they do that, you'll go into the area where the vaccinations are given. The person doing the vaccine will have you sit down. They'll prep your arm. They'll do the vaccination, and then you'll go outside the room. We'll give you a card that identifies the time you were there, exiting the vaccine area. And that card really is just so we know that you are in the observation area for at least 15 minutes. And the observation area is straightforward. It's there to make sure that no one has an anaphylactic reaction to the vaccine. And so that can happen. It can happen with all other vaccines, and it's certainly something to monitor for. And we want to make sure that you're there in a safe spot. My understanding is that the average time frame for any reaction is 12 minutes after the vaccine. So that 15-minute window is where you need to be, and you need to be in a spot where you're being observed. Once you clear that window, you'll be able to exit through the back of the building. We do have a second entrance, and we're using that for anyone in a wheelchair. So anyone who in a wheelchair can come around the back ramp and use that second entrance and come in a separate way. We'll certainly have people, some of the volunteers there, alerting people to where that entrance is.
Mm-hmm. I'd heard that, and you maybe know from the experience last Friday, but that they're estimating that the time from entering the clinic to leaving is roughly about 30 minutes per person. Is that what people have said? I suppose it depends on how long the line is. It could be longer if there's more people in the process, but I mean, it's not. I mean, it will take some time. You better set aside a good 30 minutes to an hour, right? Would you think, to get through and get it done?
Yeah, I would set aside at least an hour, just on the safe side, that if there is a line and there's a backup, that you're going to be able to wait in the line and not have to run to something else. But you're right. I mean, if there was no one there and it was just one person going in, it would be a very quick process. But the fact that there will be some delay in the line at times, that's going to make it hard. Not everyone can get the shot at the same time. So that 9 o'clock time, when there's a lot of people showing up at once, there will be a line that forms.
And if people are showing up without their health cards, or not having the forms filled out properly, or having to, that's just going to choke things up even further. And people need to be, come, sort of prepared. And, it's like getting ready to, go through security, at an airport. Seems like a million years ago that I flew anywhere, but you get behind somebody that doesn't, they act like they've never been through security, and they get up there and they got to, like, they're opening up their bags, and you kind of look at them with sort of this, can't believe you're not more prepared, kind of thing. So people need to, not that anybody's going to look judgmentally to anyone, but we really want people to come with the, sort of be alert and try to help us keep things moving, because you've got a lot of people to kind of shepherd through. Matt, earlier you said something that I just want to clarify in case people might. You said the lines were going to be roped off and there would be X's, and that where you could be or with your significant other. I just wanted to clarify for people, this isn't like a +1 event like the Taste of Spring, or that you bring your significant other, and you are invited. It's a privileged spot. I'm going to say privileged because that's what I believe it to be. The fact that we are working in this field is a privilege to begin with, but that we are being prioritized for this vaccine. That across this country, we're hearing more and more stories about VIPs, rich people, rich and famous, doing all kinds of things in order to try to, get in a spot in front of the line, and really, going to extraordinary lengths to try to get their hands on this vaccine. So it is something that is earmarked for the staff or the individual that's living in or working in our programs. And if it's, staff are not to be bringing their husbands or wives or spouses with them to get this, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And people have been pre-registered. So if you aren't pre-registered, you're not showing up to the clinic and getting a vaccine. And I would ask that, there are people who are coming with someone that needs to help them get through the line and through the system, and that's perfectly fine. But if you're coming with multiple other people who are not getting a vaccine, I would ask that they wait in the car, because it is going to be crowded, and we want to make sure that we can maintain the proper social distancing, mask wearing, cleaning surfaces after they're being used, and we really can't have any additional people in the building at that time.
So I'm assuming that you'll be having somebody keeping track of the number of people that are in the building at any given time. And I mean, in theory, we could have more people, or we could be approaching a threshold that people might be asked to wait outside, until they can actually come in. I mean, you think during so question that's come in is, how will we keep unmasked people safe while in line? What do you've had a lot of experience with this, Matt. What are the plans for that?
Yeah, so one of the things we arranged and set up is while we've roped off the line and we're expecting everyone to stay in that line, we know we do have some people we support that are not tolerating wearing masks. And we have some people that we support that cannot tolerate standing in a line. Um, and given that we've set up what we kind of called our fast lane or our fast pass, and we're going to be able to pull some people through the other side of the line and have them go wait in another area. And we have some rooms set up where they'll be able to wait by themselves or with their staff. And in that room, they'll be able to then come out, go through and get the vaccine and go back to that area. They won't need to sit and wait in the general population or the general group waiting area where you or I might wait with our masks on and sit quietly in that area. We're going to make every effort we can to have people that are not tolerating masks and can't tolerate lines have a separate space. Mm-hmm. We have scheduled some of those people into general timeframes, so we don't have everyone showing up at once. So we've worked on some of that. While most people are free to come when they need to, we do have the houses that we support, and some of the other individuals that we support, they're coming at certain times of the day.
Mm-hmm. And I saw some of the names on that list of volunteers. You got some, you got some of the heavy artillery there to help you out. And I don't know how many people know this, but you and your team have just you often accompany people to doctor's appointments, and all you mentioned the testing before that people have been enduring. That's not been pleasant for some of our folks that we serve, and so you kind of have a good idea of who you're going to have problems or who are going to require a little bit more, let's just say, support in getting through this process. But it doesn't, I mean, none of us are fully and completely. I don't forget which of us said it a few moments ago when we were preparing for this, but nobody wants this vaccine. Like, we didn't ask to be in the middle of a pandemic and to have to get this vaccine and to have to think about getting the booster 21 days later. It's not something any of us are seeking out to do. I don't think there's any true vaccine lovers that just go around looking for vaccines. But this is where we are right now, and we believe that science tells us that if we are going to decrease the spread of this and eventually harness or make this so it's a non-issue and we can get back to our lives, enough people are going to have to be vaccinated, for us to be safe, to be out and about. We're all going to be wearing masks and social distancing after this, as though just as we have been before. Isn't that right? I mean, we're still going to be living in an uncertain environment, but at least we know we'll be protected.
Yeah. Yep. Everything that we read or hear is that if you get the vaccine, that you are extremely unlikely to have a severe case of COVID. So while we might catch it or carry it, and we could potentially spread it, so we'll be wearing masks, doing our sanitizing, taking all the precautions that we have for a long time. It does protect us individually to that degree from getting a severe case, which is a big step, and we don't know the specifics of what degree the vaccine contributes to herd immunity, but to some degree, they're pretty certain that people that get the vaccine build some immunity. And that's the step in the right direction. That'll start to bring down the positivity rates.
Well, as we wrap up this NuPath Live, I once again thank you for your leadership and your thoughtful guidance during this whole process. I know it hasn't been easy. You said to me earlier, I can't wait till 5:01 tomorrow. And then I said, yeah, or how about 5:01 21 days from now or from tomorrow? That'll be a day for true celebration. But I feel I'm so proud of the people that have stepped up to the plate, that have not only been have been cooperative in the testing that we've been required to do up till now, but that have agreed to be vaccinated, and that have, we're all in some regard taking, there's some uncertainty to get the vaccine because we don't know, and people are right, we don't have, years and years of data on the safety of it, and so I don't want to diminish the people who have chosen not to. I don't want to diminish their concerns, but from my point of view, I'm much more concerned about the impacts of getting COVID and the long-term, effects of COVID on the human body, that we don't know. And in so many ways, I feel like that's much more of a threat. And certainly from the perspective of us ever returning to a normal, business model anytime soon. I'm very excited about this tomorrow. I am extremely optimistic, and we've got some great thoughts percolating. We want to get back and roaring with opportunities for folks once they've been vaccinated. And people are starting to feel more comfortable in returning, and where we can start to do what we do best, and that's working with people with disabilities and not managing a pandemic that has ravaged our community. And I believe that this is gonna be a turn in a turn around the corner, light at the end of the tunnel, whatever metaphor you want to use to talk about what this means for us. I see it as being just nothing but the absolute most positive thing that could be happening. And I know on behalf of this entire organization, thank you and everybody else on your team for their service and helping to shepherd us through this very dark and uncertain time. Is there any final remarks that you'd like to make to people, or any last minute rah or?
I'm not sure if I have a last minute rah-rah, but I will say for the NuPath employees to watch your email for an email from Karen Franklin. She's going to send out the forms again, just in case you need a copy of them, with a little bit more information, similar to what we talked about here, but keep an eye out for that email and take a close look at it. I think it's going to be a great day, and I'm looking forward to the end of it, yes, but the process itself. I'm glad so many people have signed up.
Well, we're all in this together. Hey, Matt Johnson, last word. Who got this?
We got this.
Damn right. We got this. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate your
welcome.
time today. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes another NuPath Live. And look at that, 29 minutes. Damn, I'm good. All right, everybody. We got this. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Maybe I will. And if not, happy vaccination day, everyone. We've waited a long time for this. It's going to be great. See you soon. Bye-bye.